So happy you're all here, and we're thrilled to have Georgia's Literacy Commission here on campus today. I'm really pleased to be able to share with you a little bit about the new Sandra Dunagan Deal Center for Early Language and Literacy. And our mission is very consistent with this goal of helping Georgians read, specifically focused on increasing third grade literacy rates, which I've read a lot of your materials and know you've had many presentations and are already well aware of how important the third grade literacy rate is for a child's success in school and beyond. So part of what we do is support stakeholders with research-based practices in helping to increase the literacy rate. As we think about that, I want to challenge you to remember what it feels like. Now, does anybody remember, and you don't have to have a hand or say anything, but does anybody remember what it feels like to not be able to read? I had forgotten until I was teaching first grade. And I was traveling to Japan on a Fulbright Memorial Fund trip and got off of the subway, and I looked across and I saw 3 signs right in front of me: katakana, kanji, and romanji, directional signs to tell me where to go. I could not read any of them. And as a first grade teacher, all of a sudden, I became very aware of how my children felt and what it feels like to not know. I could read the romanji letters, and I knew, because I know phonics, I could decode a little bit, and they told me I read it beautifully. But I had no idea what I had read. And that comprehension key is so important for our literacy learners at all stages. And so when we remember what it feels like, we begin to understand that a deficit view or a deficit approach when we reach out to our children is often not very helpful. When you tell someone how bad they are at something, it's really hard for them to get better at it. As adults, Kylene Beers kind of makes this point in When Kids Can't Read, and she says, as adults, if we learn a new hobby like golf, we might buy all the materials, we might get ready, we might go take lessons, we'd go to the lessons, and if we were terrible and knocked up half of the grass and didn't put the ball anywhere it should be, we'd go back once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times, or as many classes as we'd paid for, and that is the end of that. Right? The golf clubs go in the closet, we never mention it to anybody we know, or we just give them away and no one will ever know we tried it. Children become afraid to try when they fail over and over and over, particularly our young children who by pre-K and kindergarten have been told, you're just not very good at this. And so part of what we do is think about the literacy challenge in a paradigm shift kind of way. How do we invite families and multiple stakeholders into the process so that we develop cohesive and collaborative partnerships that really help children feel good about where they are, right? Where they're starting. And it might include those adults who are not literate, feeling good about where they are. Parents who may not feel good about reading to their children can feel better about that when they have a support network and they learn, you know what, we don't have to read every word as we get started. We can figure out this literacy journey together. I have some examples of partners here that include university partners, technical college partners, our library system, preschools, child care systems, the Department of Early Care and Learning, the Governor's Office of Student Achievement. But I want you to hear from a child about what a day might be like and what we can do to help.
Hey, Mr. Q.
Did you see that? Why would somebody do that?
Please go into the classroom, no talking, quietly.
Hey, Miss Merida, how you doing?
We need you inside.
How do you think that makes us feel?
I forgot my number.
What's your name?
Jordan.
What's your last name?
Carter.
All right. Go ahead.
School is hard enough.
Come on in, sit down quietly at your desks, and begin writing.
This kind of stuff just makes it harder.
I said quietly, please. Who's talking? Is it you, Sophie? Don't let it be you.
Don't believe me?
Sophie.
Please just watch.
I'm not up here for me, I'm up here for you. Pay attention, okay? Now somebody answer me. Somebody needs to answer me really fast.
Every time we're ignored or yelled at or silenced, a teacher takes away what's possible.
No horseplay, no running, and especially no talking.
Moment by moment.
Miss McGarity, your student's behavior yesterday in the lunchroom, it was terrible. Next time, silent lunch.
Did you hear that? Stay in line and catch a bubble. I'm not playing.
If this is education, we're in trouble.
Bye, Miss McGarity.
Frederick Douglass said, once you learn to read, you'll be forever free. The way it is now, 2 of the 3 of us will never be able to really read. It doesn't have to be this way.
Hey, Jordan, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Everyone we meet throughout our day can make a difference.
I've been waiting for you to arrive.
All the difference.
Good, how are you? Great.
Hi, Jordan. Bye, Jason.
Good morning, Jordan.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Good.
Go ahead and put your number in.
Talk with us, not at us.
That's okay. I'll look it up for you. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Okay.
All right. Have a
Teach us what we need to know.
good morning.
That's how we get smarter.
Well, good morning, Sophie, Janicia, and Jordan.
And when you talk with us and teach us, give us bigger and bigger words.
Now what I'd like you to do, children, is turn around and converse with your neighbor and discuss where the mother might have gone.
Words that we can use to read and understand,
She is prey for eagles, so she hunts at night.
and that will take us places we could never reach without you.
Remember, we're entering the learning zone. Now, how can we show our respect to the children and teachers who are working?
We can walk quietly.
Yes. Okay, kids, so what I'd like you to do is continue writing your narrative, documenting your emotions if you were the baby owl and your mother abandoned you in the nest.
What can you do? Learn all that you can so that you can challenge us to be our best.
You would have stayed and assisted them in whatever they needed.
Share yourself with us and show us how to share ourselves with others. Give us courage. Give us compassion. Help us find our own voices so we can become who we are meant to be.
Why would you want to silence us?
So even our simple interactions, that's the main point there, make a big difference in the way that we support early learning and language. I know that you have welcomed to the commission Ariane Weldon and have heard from the Get Georgia Reading campaign. So you'll see things that overlap and complement, and that is by design. Part of the work of the center is really developing highly effective teacher preparation and professional development programs that range not only K through 3, but begin at birth and go birth to 3rd grade. And so that fourth kind of component on the common agenda is part of what we do. Another piece is the community engagement. And this is really wonderful to see. We've seen this through our summit this summer and watched some wonderful examples of communities across the state where people are really reaching out birth through age 8 and making a huge positive difference. The center is engaging in ongoing research and evaluation, and one of the things that I really want to highlight here is the importance of finding the locations where it's going well and sharing those stories across the state so that people have access to them. When we look at national studies of birth to 8 partnerships in literacy, one of the things that we see across Oregon, Pennsylvania, as well as Massachusetts is ways that stakeholders have an opportunity to learn from each other. that there are policies and structures that can support local work, and they call it holding it tightly and loosely at the same time. They also talk about it in terms of vertical and horizontal alignment, so that all children at the infant stage, services are coordinated and we know what's happening, as well as across the span from 0 to 8. We are working on developing resources and grant opportunities. In fact, our first grant opportunity, we're thankful to the Governor's Office of Student Achievement for administering that. It's currently underway, and communities can apply right now for grants from $5,000 to $20,000 to support early language and literacy work. And we're working with a range of partners. I think Dr. Dorman has already kind of shared with you why Georgia College for the center, but one of the things that connects here is our exemplary early childhood program, and also the ways in which Georgia College as an institution can support the work and have supported us with a building. We hope you'll come and tour a little bit later this afternoon. This is our inaugural Governor Summit, our very first professional learning opportunity, and we had hoped to have 200 people in attendance. We were thrilled to have 234 and had to put new tables around as people arrived. It was a wonderful day. In fact, I think you all were meeting in a different area of the state while we were meeting here at Georgia College. We had representation from technical colleges, the university system, a range of agencies in the state, Family Connection Partnerships, the library system. We had toddler teachers, infant teachers, and partners, parents, and community leaders. What some of those attendees discussed was how powerful the speakers were and how important it was to have a wide range of professions and sectors connected. And that's already part of what you do in the commission and what you're thinking about. This model, I will not really say anything about other than it's one way of thinking about the work that we do. You've heard of the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic. This 6R model really helps us think about what we do and to kind of begin to question each thing to see how well does it fit into what our mission is. And one of the key pieces is the relationship piece and the resource piece. And when we think about resources, the center is very much about supporting all stakeholders with a balanced literacy framework and providing a range of resources. I've heard people say, what do you do when they can't read? There is no single program that we can offer or purchase that is going to do everything we need. And so understanding that it's relationships with people and equipping them with the professional learning and the resources needed so that they're going to be successful in the particular communities where they serve. Those are keys that make all the difference. So it isn't a kind of strict fidelity, oh, you have to do this program and you have to do it this way. It's very much an opportunity for people to continue to learn how to meet the needs of the children that they serve. So we are all about birth to age 8, and we're currently in process of hiring. The search committee is in process for a permanent director for the center, and we would like to invite you to share your insights and current work with early language and literacy. Look out for what we're doing and share information about the center with families that you know who have young children. Thanks so much. We're glad you're here.